Hello. So, welcome in the nature today, where I decided to go. I mean, go every day, but I decided to record again in nature. Double reason. First, being that it's always good to be in nature, it just allows you to connect better with yourself, with nature, and it just simply feels good. So that would be the first. And the second is because when I was observing and also engaging the conversations that are happening lately, that seems to be of a argumentative nature, people going back and forward and arguing their points of view, and some of them are very persistent, want to get it right, they want to be right and they want to get other people on board, which is normal, and other ones as well, or some of them are gathering together, and uniting in their opinions, which makes you feel more right and ergo better. And I noticed that some of the arguments they are just people are just going at each other, and I was thinking, because in some way, you can never win an argument really, because if I make a point, you can always argue that it's wrong and you have a better point, or similarly, if you do it, I can always argue you are wrong, and attack you and show my evidence why my way, is right. And again, we're going back and forward, and it's really funny because what simultaneously is happening, that life goes on and things are happening, and they are influencing each other, in a way that people that are just arguing might not do anything and waste their energy like that, while people that are not, and they are quite clear of what they want, and they can do what they want to do, and in return influence you while you are arguing, and people that have clarity especially tend to be the people that are also more narrow-minded, in a sense of they see more like themselves and their groups as opposed to the whole humanity, and then they basically prioritize themselves and group only, a lot of times on expense of humanity, that is doing whatever we're doing, and we all do it, but for instance, if I'll be doing certain things, most likely directly you will not be influenced so much, unless you're in my direct environment or watching this video, and you would act on I don't know, my ideas somehow, but compared to people like I don't know, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, they their actions and the way they think, they influence you in a very big way, it's really important, I feel, to notice that, and also for that reason stop arguing and start doing things that are constructive, and good for people in more, how to say, in a larger degree, that you include more people with your actions, and healthy conscious living always leaves a good long-term consequences, and unhealthy living, leaves a bad long-term consequences that will influence everything, So to go back to my point of arguments and why they exist, and how we waste energy with it. The thing is that we argue on the level of the thinking mind, where beliefs are formed, and we want to because what is mind wants to survive, so, and it functions on the principle of duality, and this intelligence, this thinking mind intelligence, wants to win a battle on that level, right? But it's really battling like up there high, and it's it's overextending, and it's causing people also a lot of stress, and the reason why I wanted to put some light into this activity is because we seem to forget that there are more intelligences than just the thinking mind, that works on principle of duality and black and white and left and right, back and forward, and causing a lot of stimulation. You feel it. You feel this arguing. It's like pumps up your adrenaline. But it also overextends and makes you do and think and say unreasonable things just for the sake of it, because it gets such a momentum, the thinking mind. It's addictive. So anyway, we forget the other intelligences that are quite well activated if you're in the nature, if you allow it. It's easier to switch off your thinking mind, and what are these other intelligences, because if you look at your system, it's like the thinking mind. Even in your brain, you have the neocortex, then you have the limbic brain, and then the primal brain, and they function a bit differently, So, for instance, the heart, emotional intelligence, and the other one, the body intelligence, they're far less conflicting. They function on the principle of unity. And what that does, it grounds the dualistic latest neocortex thinking mind and puts it into perspective. And funny enough, that when you activate the other intelligences that function far less neurotic than neocortex mind, you are able to also influence your thinking brain in a good way. So the arguments, they have a certain purpose, and they are meant to, push the creativity to the degree that is actually useful to the whole system, to all of the three intelligences, And, I see the spiritual intelligence kind of like, combining these minds and having access to wisdom that you could not get with just the thinking mind, The thinking mind is more like smart, it's like, it's witty, it's like, calculative, can be manipulative, and but it can also serve to survive to a whole system as itself and the whole society when we activate them. That's why I feel like it's so crucial that we go in nature, and activate these intelligences. And you don't have to go in nature, it's easier, because the body and the heart can activate itself more naturally because you're in tune with the frequencies of the nature, fresh air, and it all influences so well on the human system. So with this video, I wanted to mention and remember us all, to activate these intelligences, so we can start using our brain, our thinking mind better, and stop leading with the thinking brain that functions based on duality, and it's very neurotic, especially when it's not grounded, But if we ground ourselves, meaning like, what does it mean? Just feel the ground beneath yourself, and feel your body. Actually feel it. Go into physical sensation and feel it. To your thinking mind, it will not make sense. Why am I thinking? Why am I feeling my body? But that's how the body. You put the attention on the body, and these intelligences, how to say, activates better. You become conscious of it. The same as heart. You can just literally physically. Focus your attention on a physical area of your heart. And start to kind of shut down this thinking mind intelligence, calm it down, and activate the this unity consciousness. It will feel better, to say at least. If the brain is not so wired and has such a momentum, which it tends to have, that you need like hour or 2 hours, to unplug, but it's definitely worth it. The more inclusive we are within ourselves, activating all of our intelligences, the more inclusive we'll be out there, making good decisions, and then people like that, should lead the governments and the world, and it just tends to be that they're not that interested in that, they'll just live, how to say, acceptantly, but nevertheless, I urge you to contemplate what I'm saying here, and see how you can apply it, and I need to remind myself, just reminding you, because I also, I get into this momentum and I want to argue and win the points. I want to convince people, more and more people, to be conscious, because I know how well it influences everything, me and everybody around it when I'm conscious, and I know how things are when I'm not, it's just terrible, So anyway, I hope you find your spot in the nature somewhere, or wherever you are, and enjoy, and yeah, make yourself more conscious, and you'll be able to enjoy better, So have a good day, and yeah, speak to you soon.